What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Finding the Fantastic. I am here with my amazing friend, Paige. But I want to intro what we're doing to start. So I put out a post that I wanted people who were willing to admit when they were wrong. And what I mean by that is I'm talking when you wronged somebody else. And I don't want excuses. I don't want they cut me off in traffic. I don't want they deserved it. I'm talking you knew you were wrong with the way you treated them. And you know you have to do better, right? Because I firmly believe that in order to help society and humanity change to be better, we have to start admitting where we're wrong, okay?
Agreed.
So this is the first willing, brave guest to come on Finding the Fantastic. And
Always ready to lead by example.
And I love that. And admit when she was wrong. So I'm going to really let her fly with this. It's going to be one of her stories of when she was wrong. If you want to come on the podcast and admit when you were wrong, please reach out to me. Fill out the I was wrong form, and we'll get you on here. So with that, please tell us first. I want you to tell us who you are and what you do, because she's amazing. And then we'll get into it.
Okay, so I'm Paige Buscema. I own Itopia Inc. in downtown Leesburg. I am the eyeglass whisperer. So what I do is help people find themselves through a good pair of glasses, which sounds hokey, but truly if you want to tell your story properly and you need to wear glasses, who you are needs to align with how you're presenting.
Love it. Yep.
That's who I am and that's what we do.
Yeah, come visit downtown Leesburg.
So I love that, Colleen, you were talking about authenticity through this, right? This is really just a journey in life. We're always working to be our best selves. If we're not working at being our best selves, we're probably broken in some way.
100%.
Right? And then that broken spills into 100 different places. So I love that you were asking about, how you wronged somebody and you suddenly pulled back and you had that introspective moment, which is so critical. And I teach my little girls all the time, like, you can't let other people's bad behavior become your bad behavior.
Nope.
And when other parents hear me say that, they think I mean the people you surround yourself become who you are, and that is true, but that is not what I mean with that statement. With that statement, I mean when somebody else is behaving badly and you get angry, it's not okay for you to behave badly in return. That does not make it okay, it doesn't make it right, and it doesn't make it better.
Nope.
So if we're going to make the world a better place, we're going to hold ourselves accountable to our actions.
Yep.
Recognize when we've been wrong, because we're going to get it wrong. I'm going to get it wrong all the time.
Me too, all the time.
And then we're going to back up and go, hey, wait a minute. You know what?
Yeah.
I probably didn't do that right.
Yeah,
Right.
dead wrong.
So one of the things as a business owner that's hard is you have a team around you. If you build a good team, you have good people. And I have really good people here. I'm very fortunate, and I always have. Been fortunate in my hires, fortunate in the girls that come here and work with me. And we all sort of nurture and foster each other, and I think that's powerful. What happens, though, as a leader is you're a little bit out there alone, and you got to make all the decisions all the time. And sometimes you just get to the end of your rope.
Yeah.
And so, I had an employee at one point where she was missing a lot of work legitimately, not really trying to diss the team, but just missing a lot of work.
It is what it is.
And then there came a time where I was ready to take some downtime.
Yeah.
And she asked me for a day off. And I was like, what are you doing that is so important that you need to shorten my weekend? And then I was like, did I just say that, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was so inappropriate.
Yeah.
Let me just back up.
Yep.
So I took a pause, and then I went back and I said, you know what? I should not have come at you that way. That was completely inappropriate. I apologize. I will never say no. All of my employees know. I will never say no to time off. I believe in it. I think it's so important and powerful. And I was just having a bad moment, and I responded really poorly, and it had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I needed to be human in that moment, realize my mistake, back up, own it, and then we could move forward together. If I didn't do that, if I didn't adult up and go and do that, our relationship would have been broken for all the years that she worked for me.
Yep. Look at that.
Right?
I love that you were able to, in the moment, stop and realize where you were wrong. Because I'll admit, when I shared my story, it was with an Uber driver, and I was so horrifically wrong.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until like maybe an hour later, right? I was sitting in my own self-righteousness on the moment.
Yeah.
And I love that you were of the maturity, like mentally, to know, I was dead wrong in that scenario.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes it does take you a few moments. I mean, and really with a team like this, and in my life and at home, I do the same thing. Like if I'm with my kids, I love my parents. They were both awesome parents. They're still awesome parents, but they were not parents who ever said, hey, I'm sorry, I got that wrong.
Yeah.
So I make sure I'm a parent that says, you know what? You got to remember I'm human.
Yep.
I'm not always going to get it right. I'm really sorry. Maybe I handled that badly.
Yeah. And it surprises me in the society we live in, where the amount of people who sometimes they know they're wrong, but because they think they have to live up to this perfect whatever, they try to like cover it, and they're like, well, this happened and this excuse and that excuse. And I love that you were like, no excuse.
No excuse.
No excuse, and it's like, I feel like we get into that like on social media because we can hide behind the social media. Like personally, I'm really tired of seeing all the people arguing their points, and I don't mean to say this in a negative way, but this is a way that if we start calling out our actions,
sure, I
truly believe as a society, if we start admitting where we're wrong, we're going to start getting things right.
Right.
So
yeah, I love. I think it's Brene Brown that says the 5-second rule, right? And I love, if you really think about the 5-second rule, it means you're going to take those 5 seconds, count in your head, and then respond, because then you're going to take a moment to really process what your words are going to sound like.
Yeah.
It's critical in how we react. We're not going to get it right all the time. We're going to be emotional. We're going to be human. That's how we're built.
Yeah.
We're wired for that, and we're also wired to grow through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So question, as we wrap up, because we keep things short and sweet here at Finding the Fantastic, from an I was wrong standpoint, let's just say because this scenario had to do with being a business owner to your employees. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give other business owners and managers to help them admit they were wrong to their employees? Because I think a lot of people will go, oh, well, I just screwed up. Let me do better next time. But I'm not sure that that's the right case in how to fix stuff. So what advice would you give other people who were wrong?
Sure. So, I mean, approaching anybody, whether it's your team or your family or your friends or a complete stranger in the grocery store, you absolutely, especially in a team, if you're running a business and you've got people around you, you're calling them a team. You got to act like a team. And even though you're in charge and your responsibilities may be greater, it doesn't make it less important or less valuable to you to make sure you're saying and acting on the things that you're preaching.
Yeah.
Here in this company, we talk about our culture being do unto others as you would have done to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I didn't try to live up to that, we would be falling apart.
Yeah.
So please just find your culture, stay in it, and own your mistakes without excuses.
Love it.
No excuses Monday. Every
no
Monday.
Excuses Monday.
In my life.
And there are no excuses. So thank you so much for having the
My
courage.
pleasure.
Well, yeah, handshake. But I would say thanks for having the courage to come on here, because when I said that I am flat open to anybody coming on this podcast to admit they were wrong, I mean it. I'll travel to you. Let's do it. And let's start a movement and a change in who we are in our circle and our tribe. So this is how we're going to close out the I Was Wrong segment of Finding the Fantastic. We're going to look on the count of 3 at the camera and say, thanks for tuning in, and we were wrong, okay? This is the first time. Can you do that?
Be bigger than your mistakes.
Yes. All right, so we're going to say, thanks for tuning in. We were wrong, but be bigger than your mistakes.
Why not?
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Thanks for tuning in. We were wrong, but be bigger than your mistakes. All right, see you guys.